With Doubtnut, get instant video solutions to all your maths, physics, chemistry, and biology doubts. Just click the image of the question, crop the question, and get instant video solution. Download Doubtnut app today.
The question is, an element X with atomic number 17 reacts with an element Y with atomic number 20 to form a divalent halide. The A part is, where in the periodic table are these elements X and Y placed? So if we talk about the element X, it has an atomic number of 17. Electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 7. If we talk about Y, the atomic number is 20. The electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 8, 2. Right now, as you can see that X has 7 electrons in its valence shell, so you can obtain its group number by adding 10 in its number of valence electrons, and you will get 17 as the group number. Now, as 3 shells are filled, which is K, L, and M, which means that it belongs to the third period of the periodic table, right? So the period corresponds to the number of shells filled. Fine. Now talking about Y, it has 2 electrons in its valence shell. So if there are two electrons in the valence shell, then the group number is equal to the number of valence electrons, right? So when the number of valence electrons are 1 or 2, the group number is equal to the number of valence electrons. But when it is more than 2, then you have to add 10 to get the group number. Right. So here in this case, the group number will be 2 only. Right. Now as 4 shells are filled over here, this means that the period number will be 4. It belongs to the fourth period, and X belongs to the third period of the periodic table, right? So this was for the part A of the question. The part B of the question says that classify X and Y as metals, non-metals, or metalloids. So if we talk about X, now X, the configuration is 2, 8, 7. Right? It has a tendency to gain electron, and as it has a tendency to gain electron, it will be regarded as a non-metal, right? And also it lies to the extreme right of the periodic table, and to the extreme right of the periodic table we have metalloids, to the extreme left of the periodic table we have metals, and in the middle we have metalloids, right? So there's certain metalloids also in between them. So that is a general trend that you can keep in your mind. Otherwise, the substances or the elements which have a tendency to gain electrons are generally non-metals, right? Whereas if we talk about Y, then Y, the atomic number is 20, right? And the electronic configuration is 2, 8, 8, 2. It means that it has a tendency to lose these 2 electrons, right? As it has a tendency to lose these electrons, it can act as a metal, right? It will be a metal. So metal and non-metal can be decided on the basis of its tendency to gain or lose electrons, right? The elements losing electrons are generally metals, and the elements gaining electrons are generally non-metals, right? So here X is a non-metal and Y is a metal. Okay, so if we talk about X, then X will actually be chlorine because it has an atomic number of 17, and Y will actually be calcium, which has an atomic number of 20. So calcium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. Okay, now B part is done. If we come on to the C part, the C part is what will be the nature of the oxide formed by Y, right? So if we talk about Y is calcium, right? Y is calcium, and also it is a metal. And metals form basic oxides, right? So the nature of the oxide formed by the metal Y will be basic, right? And you have to identify the nature of bonding in the compound form. So first we will form a compound. So you have a metal, which is calcium, which has 2 electrons in its valence shell, and then you have chlorine, which is Y, which is X, and it has 7 electrons in its valence shell, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So what will happen here? What will happen here? As calcium has 2 electrons to lose and chlorine has only 1 electron to gain, so we will be using 2 chlorine atoms, right? We will be using 2 chlorine atoms so that they can gain the electrons given by calcium. So what will happen? This calcium will give 1 electron to this chlorine and another electron to this chlorine. So what actually is going to happen here? What is happening over here? Transfer of electron is happening, right? Transfer of electron is taking place, and the transfer of electron means an ionic bond is formed between X and Y because it involves the transfer of electrons. So this is what the nature of the bond will be. The nature of the bond will be ionic, right? And this is how the divalent halide will be formed. Ca will become Ca plus 2 because it has lost 2 electrons, right? And then we get Cl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 1 electron, and we have 2 Cl over here. So CaCl2 is the formula of the compound which is formed between X and Y, and the nature of the bond formed will be ionic bond, and this is the electron dot structure for the compound formed, right? That's all for the question.
For class 6 to 12, IIT JEE and NEET level. Trusted by more than 5 crore students. Download Doubtnut App today.